Hello and welcome to Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, episode 6 of the campaign mode. I am Flaming Cacti, and today we are going to be doing the goods mission. What this is it is the distribution office tutorial. So let's set up facilities that will supply shops with essential goods. Alright. Greetings. As a second secretary of Communist Party, I am saying that achieving self-sufficiency in crucial resources is paramount for our nation's stability. Through the successful establishment of our food, alcohol, and clothes industries, we are well on our way to relying on our own production. By producing these essentials internally, we can decrease our dependence on external suppliers and strengthen our economic resilience. With these industries in place, we can consider discontinuing the need to purchase these resources from external markets, further solidifying our self-sufficiency and reinforcing the strength of the Soviet Republic. The distribution office, a permanent building in our logistical network equipped with cargo trucks. This facility manages the movement of goods efficiently. You are only responsible for assigning loading points and unloading destinations for these trucks. Once assigned, the distribution office automates the process, ensuring that each truck is dispatched to where it is needed, streamlining our resource distribution across the Soviet Republic. This functionality enhances our supply chain and optimizes the flow of goods, contributing to our economic stability and progress. Alright, so they say here that we have to build a big distribution office. That's not true, we can build a small one. That counts. Alright, so general cargo, and let's build a small distribution office. And let's put it right in there somewhere. If we can snap it to the grid, I will. And let's do it like... maybe don't snap it to the grid. Okay, I like that. And let's tell it to build. And we'll be back in a moment. There it is. Alright. So for the distribution office to function efficiently, it requires proper configuration. Distribution office requires vehicles that will transport goods between warehouses and shops. Purchase covered haul trucks to transport food, clothes, and alcohol. Designate factories or warehouses containing food, clothes, or alcohol as the source points. Then set the shops as the designated destinations. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We already have 5 trucks throughout the city, essentially already performing the function of the distribution office, except using lines instead of using the distribution office. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to just relocate these trucks to the distribution office. We're going to do the same thing with all the other trucks as well. We'll just have to keep an eye out for when they come on back. Well, we got 2 there. Let's see. You reassign there. And you reassign there. And final one is hiding out right there. So let's get him moved over there. Alright, and while those trucks are moving, let's start assigning some tasks. So I'm going to assign the tasks as they tell me to, but I'm going to go back and change them up a bit because we have a slightly different setup than how the tutorial was expecting. Building for food. Okay. Ensure you are not importing any food, clothes, or alcohol while all your shops are constantly supplied. Okay, I'm going to redo my distribution office setup because I know from experience it wasn't going to recognize like me saying to pick up from the road cargo station, because it's not going to recognize that the road cargo station is really a source for all that within the context of the tutorial. And same thing with this warehouse over there. So I want to set this up the way that I need it set up, essentially. So we're going to load alcohol from the alcohol factory. We're going to load food from the food factory. We're not going to worry about these clothing factories because they are fully connected. They have all their inputs automatically provided, and they already automatically export their outputs to that warehouse. So we got the... Okay, yes, great, thank you for reminding me. What was I saying? Oh, right. So we want to also get the road cargo station, and we want to say that we are willing to load food, clothes, and alcohol, but we're also willing to unload food, clothes, and alcohol to it as well. And I'll make the storage percent 0 and 100%, and what that's essentially going to do is it will always be willing to load from it, and it will always be willing to unload to it. Alright, what else? So we got the distillery, we got the food factory, we got the clothes by logical extension. And now we need to specify that you can drop off at the pubs and that warehouse. So let's see, unload alcohol at the pubs, or unload to the warehouse. Clothes and food. Okay. Set should be set. Now let's stop auto purchasing alcohol at the pubs. We'll stop auto purchasing anything there. Let's see, we're auto purchasing there though. So stop buying food and clothes. And with the warehouse, let's limit the amounts. Okay, 85 and 15%. That's good. That's set up. And we can do a similar thing over at the warehouse. So let's see. So 15, and 70. Yeah, that'll work fine. All right. So let's let it play. And essentially, once we get up to 50 days worth of food and alcohol self-sufficient, it's going to bring us to the next mission. However, there are a few things we can take care of. I know that this is going to fill up soon, but I probably want to wait for it to fill up before starting exports. So I guess let's let this play for a little bit, and you'll come back in just a minute. You know, there is something we can do though in the meantime, and I want to set up some work buses. So let's do a bus station, align it to the grid if we can, and let's see, maybe something like that. Yeah. Or could we get it in there? I mean, technically, but I think I prefer the way this looks. So we'll put that down. Let's just auto build all of this. Use some asphalt footpaths. Connect there, there. There, there. Alright. So, that should be good. Everyone should be able to walk to that. Now we want to buy some buses. And let's do... let's do microbuses. So how many factories do we have? We have 5 factories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's start off with 5 microbuses. And let's specify that we want to load workers either without education or just with basic education. No, I want basic education strictly. And we want to unload to food factory where it'll just be people with basic education. Okay. So here's a little time-saving trick I'm going to do. I'm going to copy the schedule to the other vehicles. And I'm going to launch this first one. I'm going to click on the next one. I'm going to remove the food factory stop, and I'm going to replace it with a fabric factory stop, where I'm going to say workers can get out. Launch. And the next one, going to get rid of the food factory stop, and we're going to replace it by saying the distillery workers can get out. Launch. Next one, get rid of the food factory and go to the clothing factory instead. And launch. And finally, going to get rid of the food factory and go to the other clothing factory and just workers and launch. Alright. Now I want to do 5 more microbuses on those same lines. So let's buy 5 more. Open up our lines menu. And we're going to set line to vehicle. Launch. 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 And launch. So now we have 2 microbuses supplying workers to each of the factories. I'm going to enable line spacing, and what that's going to do is it's going to force them to spread out approximately equally spaced, just so that way they're not bunched up. Right, so that's going to help with making sure that we always have people at the factories working their hardest. Okay, what else can we do? We can get a bus for the college. We will do the luxury bus. And we'll specify pickup. Pick up university educated workers and basic educated students. And drop off university educated workers and basic educated students. And what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that the people who can't walk to the university, like that building or that building, that they can at least walk to bus station, because all of our residential buildings can walk to the bus station, and from there they can get on a bus and go to the university. Alright, so, do we need a bus for, like, the secret police or anything, or the hospital? Maybe a microbus? A microbus each could be helpful. It's also probably unnecessary unless we're having problems, because we're really not having problems with staffing those. But we were a little low on staff for these. Food factory takes 170 people. Maybe I should have done a bigger bus instead of the microbuses. Well, we'll let that run and we'll change it if we need to. Now it's just going over there. Okay, we're making our surplus. You're totally full on alcohol though. Why are you not sending someone to go pick up some alcohol from the distillery? Is there a problem with how I set this up? I don't think there is. I would think that a vehicle is going to go pick up something from the distillery. But they don't seem terribly interested in doing such. Also going to rename some of our stations, like the road cargo station. I'm going to name Bongradersk Road. Industrial warehouse. Then we're going to name this Bongradersk Industrial Warehouse. We'll rename this warehouse Bongradersk Shop Warehouse. Shopping warehouse. Just shop warehouse. That'll do. Okay. If you click on the T button for building transparent, you can put text on top of the building. So let's maybe Bongradersk. Let's see. Now it says Bongradersk on top of the shopping center. Just as a reminder from the sky, I suppose. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of not the angle I was hoping for. So let's get rid of that. Alright. Are you filling up? You are. And you're operating without issues, operating without issues. Okay, everyone there is good. What's your problem? What, you have clothes? Do you have nowhere to put the clothes? What if I tell you to discard all cargo? Then are you going to wake up and do something? You are, okay. I've just noticed that truck was sitting there for a long time. I think that was a bug from reassigning it. Okay. Let's do another research. time we'll do fire prevention. Alright, so I'm taking a look at all these trucks here sitting there having nothing to do because the food storage is full, the clothing storage is nearly full, alcohol is nearly full, food factory is full, alcohol factory is full, clothing factory is full, warehouse is full, store is full, pumps are full. So we're making plenty of extra. So now we can actually export some things. Let's buy some vehicles. Let's do covered hull, and let's start off with 1 truck each. So we're gonna load food, and we're going to unload at the customs house that same food, and we can launch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the schedule to the other 2 trucks just as a shortcut, and we're going to, instead of food, we're going to do clothes. Or actually, I probably, let's see, reschedule you. I'm gonna redo that. We're gonna, instead of doing food, we're gonna do clothes, and then you can launch. And then instead of food, you're gonna do alcohol, and you can launch. And what that practically does is it gives us some control over the rate of our export. So we'll need to kind of tune it in, but we can increase or decrease the amount of trucks on each of those given export lines to match our export goals. And I would change out the buses, like the microbuses, for better buses. I don't think it's really necessary right now, considering that we have plenty of resources at the moment, but I'll probably end up having to switch them out at some point in the future. Alright, what else do we got going on? What else can we do? I guess just wait. Other than waiting, what else can we do? We could do another research. Let's see. Fire prevention for different types of buildings, cars for loyal citizens, container standards, railway distribution, tourism. Let's do more fire prevention. That'll be good. And let's see, how's our bus working? We got 40 workers on board. And it only took like half of them. I guess it's just keeping it topped off. Maybe I need maybe I should do a bus for workers and a bus for students. Yeah, that'd be bad. So let's buy a new bus. Get another luxury one. And we can... Ooh, let's actually copy the schedule. That sounds good. And we're going to modify you to just be workers. Then we're going to modify you to just be students. There we go. Probably put a another bus on that same line. So let's do that. Luxury. You can start as well. And let's look at the line and enable line spacing. Alright. I'd say we're pretty self-sufficient on food and alcohol and clothes. Now, maybe we should upgrade this road here. Let's do that. Alright. So just gonna drag that all the way through. No, doesn't want to. But you'll do that, okay. I'll take it. And we'll just make it all gravel. And if I do asphalt in the future, I'll pay for that myself. I figure we can at least have a gravel road going to the customs house. And that'll let them drive a little faster. And how are we looking over here? Still very full. Okay. So we could probably use more of these trucks then. So let's do that. We'll do 3 trucks total on each line. Let's look at our lines. And we will you and you. You and you. You and you. Then we'll tell them all to line spacing not supported. How so? Why not? Let's fast forward a bit. And when these eventually become asphalt roads, they're going to be one-ways. And we do line spacing now. Line spacing not supported. Why not? Is it the wait until unloaded portion? Yeah, it is. Okay. So if you do wait until unloaded, or wait until loaded, both of those, then you can't do line spacing. So I'm gonna disable those, because I'm pretty sure that it's just gonna be always full. So it should fill up all the way if it is capable of filling up all the way. Alright, I noticed something. So, we're probably using more crops than we're going to be able to grow, because that's out of crops. This might be expensive, but I just want to always have crops. I want to always be exporting. I want my industry to be busy. And if I have to pay a bunch in... Hang on, here's an idea. Okay. So... if I'm buying these crops here, I have to pay a delivery fee. But if I buy them at the border, I don't have to pay a delivery fee. And I can buy them at the border using covered haul trucks. Okay, well, do I want to set up a line just to buy crops? Probably not. But I do have all these existing trucks that already happen to be going to the border. Oh, we finished the mission. I'll talk about that in a second. But we already have all these trucks that are already going to the border and are already going to be in the area. So what if while they're at the custom house I say load up on crops while you're there, and on your way back unload your crops to that grain storage. So you're gonna load food there, then you're going to sell the food and buy crops, and you're going to bring the crops back to the grain storage and unload the crops at the grain storage and then load up on food and go back. So that way those trucks are making a more efficient trip. That's good. That'll be good. Let's copy that mentality. So large custom house, load crops and unload at the grain storage, and load crops and unload at the grain storage. Okay. So that way they'll always bring back some crops with them just to make the return trip a little more worthwhile. Now, they're probably not going to have, like, it's probably not going to be very much money worth of crops. So, like, you can see here that this truck full of alcohol is worth 1,500 ruble. And he's going to sell the 1,500 ruble worth of alcohol. He's selling it right now, the money's going up. And then he is going to buy 10 tons of crops, which is only worth 176 ruble. That's why it's worthwhile to process the crops into a better value-added product that you can sell. And 10 tons of crops is not a lot, but it will make it a bit more of an efficient round trip. So that way it's not totally empty coming back. Very good. All right, let's wrap up this episode. All right. Well done, comrades. Our efforts towards self-sufficiency have paid off, as we now enjoy a steady and reliable supply of food, alcohol, and clothes in our shops and pubs. Your dedication to strengthening our internal industries and ensuring the well-being of our citizens is truly commendable. This achievement marks a significant step towards the prosperity and stability of the Soviet Republic. Great, mission complete. We have now done about half of the campaign. Nice. So we can either do higher education next, build universities that would provide higher education for our citizens and provide the opportunity for scientific research, or coal mining, build a coal mining district. Let's I don't know what we'll do next. I'm gonna think about that. But I think that is enough for one episode. We are a bit over half an hour, so let's call it there. Thank you for watching this episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic with Flaming Cacti. You've been watching the campaign mode, and it's been episode 6, where we have done a lot of distribution office work and getting our logistics settled. So that way, we're actually exporting, and we're making some money. I don't know if we're making a profit or not necessarily. Overall, maybe check this month. It's the 13th of August and we've profited 30,000 rubles so far. We've sold 50,000 rubles worth of clothes, alcohol, and food. And we've only imported 16,000, and most of that's just crops. So we're doing pretty good. We are making money. And the money that we are spending, we're spending to make money. So, excellent. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in episode 7. Next episode, next time. See ya. Bye.